Hi, thank you so much for taking this interview. Would you mind just telling me your name, a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Caoimhe. I am 23 and I'm currently studying to be a primary school teacher, and I live in the absolute centre of Waterford City.
Oh, amazing! And did you go to college in Waterford City to be to do secondary school excuse me, primary school or?
I'm doing it from home, but I'm doing it through Hibernia. But
Okay,
I still live in Waterford.
you live in Waterford now. And where did you go to college?
I went to college in Cork.
Okay, cool. And do you drive, Quiva?
I don't drive at the minute.
So you would be kind of fairly reliant on like public transport.
Yeah, completely. Honestly.
Okay, and from your experience with public transport, what can you say about it? Like, is there a difference in the public transport in Waterford and the one that they have in Cork?
I would say there definitely is. I feel like there's a lot more options when it comes to public transport in Cork, whereas just say in Waterford you've only got just say the 5 or 6 bus routes that are run through like Bus Éireann, and then you've got some of the local buses, but even then they are not as accurate, or it's hard to tell like if they'll come on time. But at least I have to say that the buses that I would use, which are kind of like the W3 and the W5, the bus stops aren't too far away. They're not too hard to access, and the buses aren't too infrequent. But I feel like Cork definitely has more frequent buses.
Yeah, I definitely agree from my experience with both as well. And do you know, so in Waterford City, so are you working as a primary school teacher at the moment?
Yeah, I do. I sub away in a few schools around the city.
Unreal. And how do you get to work?
I'm very lucky insofar as I walk to most of the places because I do sub within the city. But if I was to accept subbing anywhere else, I'd be reliant on either the bus or getting a lift off someone.
Unreal. And so you'd say a lot of walking. What's it like walking around Waterford City?
It's grand. Some of the footpaths, like especially just say where I live on my street, there's a lot of like there could still be loads of improvements done on the actual footpaths, and I know because my nanny uses a walker to get around. Like some of the ways she has to go around the city, like she sometimes has to take the less convenient route because there'll be like a step where there doesn't need to be a step, or there'll be as like the footpaths won't be like even or smooth, and it'll make it harder for her to get around.
That's definitely annoying. So, like, would you say your experience with, and even with you're on about your grandmother, so your family's experience, do you think Waterford needs improvement in its accessibility of mobility?
I think definitely there's a lot that can be done,
Mm-hmm.
and I know like more often than not, if I'm going into town, I will see roadworks or footpath works of some description going on, but it doesn't seem to be in the areas that need the most. And I know, just say, even when you're in the centre of town, I know that it's part of the whole city's kind of history with the. This is absolutely. I'm trying to think of do you know the like cobblestones in
Yeah,
the city?
yeah.
Yeah. Like I know they're very much part of the city's history, but they're like very hard to walk on. If it's raining, like they're very, very slippy.
Very unsafe, actually. I was up there over the weekend, and I nearly slipped on those cobblestones because it was raining. So yeah, I definitely agree. And do you think there's like this negative? Do you think there's a negative view of the public transport system in Waterford City at the moment?
Yeah, and yes and no. I feel like it's definitely improved in the last while, but I don't know of many people my age or even a little bit younger who would choose the bus over having to inconvenience someone for a lift.
Yeah, that's a big thing as well. So like, and most people you'd know about using public transport at the moment, people would probably be around your age as well, would they? Or would you?
A lot of them anyway, or like maybe people a little bit younger than me because they don't drive.
And what age did you say you are again?
23.
23. So yeah, so you're fairly young, straight out of kind of college, like, and like no transport, like not no transport to work, but luckily work is very close by. If it wasn't, there could be issues there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Completely.
And if you could suggest one thing that would make your life a bit easier in terms of mobility and traveling in Waterford, what do you think could help you?
Let me see.
And your knowledge of Waterford City, like, so specifically, what could improve Waterford City life for you in terms of transport?
I think probably it would be adding more bus routes, because there is only the five at the minute, and making them more frequent if possible.
Yeah.
Let's just say, like, I don't think, as far as I know, there's no like bus air and bus that goes out to Dunmore East, which meant like over the summer, if you wanted to go out for a swim in Dunmore East, you'd have to get a lift out there, or you'd have to rely on not bus air, and I find those buses are just harder to navigate and harder to find information on.
Yeah, which is annoying, because places like Dunmore East and stuff, that's where you'll want to be in the summer, because there's the beaches, you know, it's the closest beach. And come here, Caoimhe, so do you have, what's your opinion on cycling in the city? Do you cycle? Have you seen people cycling?
I see a lot of people cycling. I don't cycle myself, but I do have one of those cards that lets you use the bikes that are around, and they're kind of popping up a little bit more now. The ones that you dock that, like, just say they would have been in Cork when I was in college.
Yes, the e-bikes, you could, like the Coca-Cola bikes are the ones in Cork, but they have different ones in Waterford. Yeah. Do you know how many, off the top of your head, do you know if there's many stations of that around?
I feel like, just say within maybe 15 minutes of me, there's about 3 or 4, but I feel like there's probably maybe 7 or 8 within the city.
Okay, that's actually quite a higher number than I was expecting. That's great. And in terms of like cycling tracks, though, what's the situation? Like, is there, so like in Cork, there are specific cycle routes like on the side of the road. There's the cycle lanes. Sorry, guess what it is. What's the Waterford City situation of that?
There's very few.
Is there?
There'd be a few, but just say once you get in to like around the quay and kind of that area of town, but other than that, there's not. Which is, it's such a shame, because I would have done a load of cycling when the Greenway first opened up. But even for me to get my bike from my house to one of the Greenway access points, I just had to cycle on the road.
Yeah, that would turn someone off it as well, because it's a bit dangerous. Like, as for someone who doesn't know how to cycle, like, or cycle professionally.
Exactly. Yeah, you're dead right.
Yeah, thank you so much, Caoimhe. That's all my questions for you. Have a lovely day.